Well, welcome to the show, everybody. How's everyone feeling out there tonight? Well, I'm excited about this tonight's show, and I know that we have some staff members from Champlain College here. I see Pat Bawera in the audience, and very fitting because of our host, or our guest here tonight, Lizzie Post, who is going to be talking to us about graduating seniors and college students. So we've got author Lizzie Post is with us. And a musical guest all the way from Johnson, Vermont, Ghosts of Pasha. That's right. And I'm taking a look here now. I want to show you a newspaper article from my hometown. This is the Chronicle newspaper. This is the weekly newspaper back home. And it's kind of funny because inside there was a really funny ad. You know things are tough. It is for Moken Automotive up in Newport, and they're offering $1 per clean perch up to $500 to go towards the purchase of your vehicle. How about that, huh? $1 up to $500 of clean perch. I don't know. I think that's kind of crazy. Hey, you know what? It's time for one of those new segments that we have here, and it's time for Crazy State Laws. Yep. I like this segment. These are actual laws that are made up. They were made up years ago, and it kind of seems a little bit crazy, and you'll see why. Here are the top 5 crazy state laws from the state of New York. Here we go. Women may go topless in public provided this act is not being used as a business. It is illegal for citizens of New York to greet each other by putting their thumbs to their noses and wiggling their fingers. Slippers must not be worn after 10 p.m. I think because you're getting busy or something. All right, it is against the law to throw a ball at someone's head for fun. What will the New York Knicks do now? All right, and finally, the craziest state law in New York, the penalty for jumping off a building is death. Those are actual state laws, everybody. All right, now it's time for another fun segment. It is time for our awards for Everyday Heroes.
These awards are for the Joes among us who decided to rise from average to above average. These are awards for Everyday Heroes. This week's award goes to Lucy and Dick. On the hot summer nights, they would pass the time away, naked as jaybirds, skinny dipping in the local pond. As things got hot, they got hotter, squawking their own special mating call. Though they thought no one else was watching, Peeps McGee caught it all on tape and posted it online for all to see. To this star-crossed, candid camera couple, we offer the internet's highest honor, viral video status. Congratulations, Dick and Lucy, a couple true everyday heroes.
That's right, they are everyday heroes, and now we turn to the lovely Miss Jen to go ahead and spin that prize wheel. We'll find out exactly what's going to be won on that wheel tonight that our everyday heroes are going to go ahead and share. Maybe it'll land on the Hilton for them, I don't know. But here it comes right now. It has landed perfectly on Pauline's Cafe. That means that they have won a gift certificate. Jamie Pauley here to tell you all about it.
It's dinner for 2 at Pauline's Cafe and Restaurant, Melbourne Road, South Burlington. Featuring their famous Maine crab cakes for over 25 years. Visit paulinescafe.com for sample menus. A delicious prize valued at $60. Tim?
Thank you very much, Jamie Pauley. Plus, we're throwing in this jar of Jed's Maple Mud for you. And from our friends at Comcast and the Golf Channel, a pair of thermal mugs. We've got lots more Late Night Saturday coming up. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Thank you so much. Hey, I like this segment, too. This is our misnamed wedding couples. This couple comes to us from Lancaster, Wisconsin. Not only is this their name, this is what they do in the frozen tundra. Please say hello to Mr. and Mrs. Crap Beer. Those hyphenated names, I just don't understand it sometimes. Tonight's guest is the daughter of well-known author Peter Post and has recently published her own book, How Do You Work This Life Thing? She has been touring with the book recently, including having been on the Today Show. Won't you please welcome Lizzie Post? The Today Show and then late night Saturday.
I'm just living large, you know.
Does life get any better than that? I'm telling you. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you very much. It was a long effort, and I was so glad to see it released, and I'm really thrilled with it.
You know what I loved about it, and you talk about it quite a bit, is you use this from real life experience too. You took your college days right after college, and you kind of took those real life experiences and poured it right into this book.
Yes, my best friend Christina, who lived with me twice, is now very famous.
Twice, once because she was mad at you?
No,
or?
it just worked out that we wound up living together twice at 2 different points.
Now, I mentioned your dad. Your dad's been on the show. You are a 4th generation author in the Post family.
Yes.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Huh? This started with your great-great-grandmother.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Emily was, she was a writer to start with, and then her editor came to her and said, look, you know, we've been asked to write a book on etiquette, and you know, you're very well known in the social realm, and you know much about what to do, so we'd love for you to write it. She said, oh, no, I could never do that. She started to think about it, and a 900-page book came later that was a national bestseller.
A 900-page book?
It was just a huge book.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. And then so from your great-great-grandmother to? My
grandmother. It skipped 1 generation, and it went to my grandmother. And then my Aunt Peggy took it on, and then my father joined her, and our Aunt Cindy, and then myself and my sister, Anna.
So your sister's writing a book too?
Oh yeah, she wrote a book on wedding parties, and it's fantastic.
No kidding. So who's a better writer, you or your sister?
I'm not going to say that on TV.
Come on, you can. You are definitely. And that's polite to say that, right?
You know, we're sisters.
Do you fight a lot?
No comment.
We can get right to that, because actually I think there was a section in your book that you learned to write in here, if I remember correctly, about you learned a valuable lesson in swearing because you left a rather nasty message for your sister, which she actually didn't get. Someone else got that.
Right. I was very upset because my parents wouldn't sign a release to let me live off campus my freshman year at UVM, and so I was calling up to vent, which many college students do often, to my sister about it, and I left a 2-message-long message with lots of obscenities, and her roommate, who I've never met, wound up getting the message, and he just said,
"Still has never met."
We never actually got a chance to meet, but I can only imagine his impression of me. But he was just like, "Wow, your sister's got a mouth like a trucker," and that sealed the deal for me. I had to work on my swearing from then on out.
And that was it.
I have to be better about it.
But it was one of the things that became a part of the book.
Exactly, and even in the Post family, we make mistakes, and they're great things to learn from. And it's, the world is a really awkward place, and we're just trying to help people maneuver their way through it smoothly.
So speaking of awkward, let's go back to high schoolers, because you have some tips for high schoolers. And what tips can you offer to high schoolers?
The best thing I could say is to really think before you get really emotional about a situation, like whether it's the dirty dishes or it's something really personal going on between you and a friend. Think about it, because you can communicate so much better when you're not being emotional about something. And that's a lesson that I definitely have to learn. I've had to learn, and I have to learn still.
Had to learn the hard way, did you?
Oh, yes.
Now, we, of course, tape on the campus of Champlain College, and we've got some graduating seniors this year, like they do every year. What kind of advice can you offer to the graduating seniors who are going out into the real world? That
it is, it's very different from college, is that be ready for a shock.
What do you think is one of the biggest shocks?
I think for me it was, even though I did get a job with my family's business, that didn't happen right away out of school, and it's how hard it is to get a job. And that being professional in your appearance and showing up on time and being really prepared to talk about you in that interview and what makes you different from the other people that all have the same resume that you have. I think that's the most important thing when you're hitting that job world for the first time.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. What about landing that perfect job? I mean, you talked about the appearance.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's big, but probably preparing yourself. And
I think you do want to prepare yourself, and you also want to think about what is it that you really want to do, and then try it out. You don't have to stick with it for the rest of your life. You know, you can search for another job and move on if you don't like it. Or if you have one of those dream jobs, like, you know, Hollywood actress that's really hard to get right off the bat, get the best job you can find, you know, that you'll make the most money at and will give you the time to really practice what you want to do in the future.
Well, I have a question for you, and there's a lot of things I want to talk to you about. This is for me personally.
Okay.
How do I, you know, I have a wife and 3 kids, so how do I find those life lessons to make sure that I'm finding that everyone, that they have their value too, you know, in the family, to making sure that they've got their important things and keeping on track and on time and on schedule and things?
The best thing that you can do is just keep reminding them, because when they go off to college or if they go to prep school or something like that, they're going to hear your voice in the back of your head, in their heads, you know, going, you got to be on time, you got to make it happen, it is really important.
And I have a feeling that the voice that I'm going to hear from them is, Dad, can I have some more money?
That's always going to be a voice.
That's going to be there all the time.
You know, I still do that.
Do you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about the 3 C's, because there's 3 C's in the book that you find are very important.
I think, you know, we base all of our etiquette, it comes down to 3 very logical things. And the first, I'll speak about 3 C's in 2 seconds, but the things that they're all based on are consideration, respect, and honesty. And we feel that if you act in those ways, you're not going to go wrong. But you can't just say, okay, act with respect. You have to find a way to get through it. And so we came up with the 3 C's, and those are communication, compromise, and commitment. So if you and your roommate are having issues with a really messy house, you know, obviously you both know that there's a problem, so you want to talk about it. And again, if you can pull the emotion out of talking about it and just sit down, everyone gather, listen to what everybody's saying and talk about it, you're going to find a way to compromise and come up with a solution. The trick is to then stick with the solution. And if it doesn't work, if it's just not happening, then go back to step 1, communicate about it.
And by communicating, obviously, you're going to be able to find that way. You'll be able to definitely push forward and find what is going to work then.
Right, exactly. And you don't want to communicate when you're just completely livid about the situation and 100% emotional and you're just going to blow up in front of everyone and look crazy. You want to do it at a time where you all get together and say, okay, this is what we're going to talk about. It's really important. Nobody's got classes, nobody's got work schedules that they're conflicting with, you know, that everyone's ready to focus on the problem at hand.
And I bet the 3 C's would come in particularly handy when you're talking about the 5 potential war zones for home, whether you're moving in with a new roommate or something.
Exactly.
Like that.
They definitely are war zones, and those are the kitchen, the living room, and the bathroom, which are all common areas. And then the other things that really get under people's skin are when you make noise and when you borrow things.
Like clothes?
Clothes, money, cars. That's a really big thing to borrow if you can't afford to fix it if you break it.
Have you experienced that personally?
No, I haven't experienced that personally, but I know friends who have, and it's really hard. I mean, you think, oh yeah, sure, I'll just let my roommate borrow my car. Oops, had a little accident. What do you do? I mean, it's really awkward.
And you talk about like anything. I mean, food. You talk about in the book like, oh, I'm craving that leftover Chinese food that I have in the fridge, and you get home and it's gone. That is a true story.
Exactly. My roommate and I, you know, we used to cook a lot, and we would always make lots of leftovers. And I'd come home from class earlier than she did, and sure enough, I dug right into our Chinese food leftovers, and she came home after a really long day and just exploded at me because she'd been waiting and dreaming of those leftovers all day long, and I was just going, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to, I didn't want to, I didn't know. And so it's just, that's another time when if she had communicated before and said, hey, I'd really love to put dibs on those leftovers, it would have been no problem.
So it was really her fault then?
Oh, it was always her fault. It's never my fault, Tim. It's never my fault.
And one day I will write about you. Now, you've been really busy. You've been on the circuit. You did the Tyra Banks show. Yeah. You've done the Today Show. You did the Weekend Today Show as well.
A couple times.
What are some of the other events that you have coming up?
Oh, gosh. Coming up, I'm speaking down in Connecticut to a group of children. I actually just did a seminar over at Christ the King for kids from Christ the King in Mater Christi.
Nice.
And so we did children's etiquette with them, teaching about the magic words and, you know, how to share and care nicely. And it's a lot of fun. The kids are awesome with the etiquette. They love learning about it.
And as much fun as I'm sure to travel, you love living and working in Burlington.
I do. I just bought a house just down the street from you.
You're right down the road from us.
And I love it. I moved out to California for a very brief period of time and came running right home. I love this state. I really do.
Well, we're lucky to have you in it, and we wish you the best of luck. It's Lizzie posts How Do You Work This Life thing. She has 20 signed copies she's going to be giving out to members of our studio audience. We've got lots more late night Saturday, including Ghost of Pasha when we come back. Very good job. And welcome back to the show, everybody. Way to Go Glove is the title off their new triple CD on their own label. From the small town of Johnson, please welcome tonight's musical guest, the Ghost of Pasha. And she spells it differently. Yeah.
Money, ho. You got some money, ho. You got some real hard roll, love, move your glow, and I hit you in the face with a bubble, girl. Let's go. Thanks.
Ghost of Pasha, that was a great sound.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is a great show, so we're really happy to be here.
Well, good. We're going to have you speak right into the microphone.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Introduce yourself and the rest of the band.
My name is Chris. This is Milo, and that's Ben. Me and Milo are from New Jersey.
All right, good. How did you guys get the band together?
We went to high school together in New Jersey. We grew up together, so we've been in like 20 or 30 bands together so far. So
is that right?
This is the last one we've been in. Well, yeah, actually he has 2 or 3, and I have another band. So
no, he has 2 or 3. That's the funny thing about these shows. We always see bands that they're involved with so many different bands.
Right.
And I'm sure that helps with the music too, as far as creating the music and finding the sounds.
All I really want to do is just like sit in my room and I'm sorry.
That's all right.
All I really want to do.
Hey, that's Sheryl Crow, man.
I just sit in my room all the time and compose video game music, and I compose classical music as well. But I also play a lot of video games, so.
And you guys have done a lot. I mean, you Rolling Stone, New York Times. Talk a little bit about what's been going on.
We were in Spin, Rolling Stone, New York Times, This is American Life, NPR, Showtime. We appeared on Showtime last year, so.
And what was it? What was the episode on Showtime?
It was the first episode of This American Life, the television version of This American Life.
Yeah.
With Ira Glass.
Nice.
Was the first part was with this guy and his bull that gored him, and then the second episode was us.
Fitting.
Yeah, Ghost of Pasha, gore someone, and then you guys follow up. And what I think was so great, and Milo, we were talking about this, is that these guys went ahead and they created this triple CD that we talked about earlier, and they did that in, what was it? 97 songs in how long a period of time?
There's 60 songs on the triple CD, 20 on each disc, and there's 17 songs on the disc we released 2 months before that. So
unbelievable.
All we do is just like write songs.
There's another one coming out next.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry. We have a 7-song EP coming out on an English label called International Lo-Fi Underground, run by the Beatnik film stars, lead songwriter Anders. He was a hero of mine in the 90s when I was into like a lot of like 4-track music and stuff. So it's like really amazing that he's putting out our music now, you know.
Good for you guys. Good for you guys. Well, we're going to leave the show and let you guys go ahead and play us out. I'd like to thank the Ghost of Pasha as well as author Lizzie Post. Be sure to support local artists like the folks that you've seen here tonight. We'll see you next time on Late Night Saturday.
I'm staring past this street. Sometimes it's hard to see, but it's always there. Go.